Hey, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be talking about season 1, episode 4 called The Changeling. This episode gives us more clues, mystery, but also some answers, and I'm here to give you my breakdown and theory. So let's get started. From last episode, it was revealed that the wise ones are witches, and in the beginning of episode 4, the narrator stated the water renews but does not shed its layers. No, it drags buried memories to the present. Once below these waters, giant predators swam. Mythical, these predators grew legs and made it to land. If they can do that, would it be so surprising if once upon one of these times, witches had been here too? I love that the narrator Victor, which is the author behind the book The Changeling, talks about the mythology and the mythical that can be beyond and true, giving the audience answers to the series, but also letting us know what Apollo may be facing. Patrice shows Apollo that someone made a tribute page to baby Brian. Apollo started to read some negative and disturbing posts. And there are some posts I noticed there are some clues to this episode and series. Starting with creatures of the forest, which often forests will be the home of elves, fairies, giants, goblins, and trolls, and also leprechauns. Moose elk deer 07. The moose, or the elk, is known in Norway to be the king of the forest. He carries within his spirit the deep knowledge and mystery of the forest. The elk will help us to find the inner wisdom, inspire us to be more confident, and appear with grace. And then you have the Oslo station that is located in Norway as well. What these posts have in common, that they all about Scandinavian folklore, which I did a deep dive on that. Then Apollo gets upset with Patrice, like it's his fault, he didn't even do anything. So the buyer, William, shows up drinking Tab soda. Patrice was shocked and said, who still drinks Tab? So I'm going to give you some history about the Tab soda and the Tab brand. So Tab was introduced back in 1963 and discontinued in 2020. Tab was popular along some people throughout the 1960s and the 1970s and an alternative to Coca-Cola. The beverage ingredient was a sweetener. What if Michael may be a troll or a fairy, because both mythology creatures love eating sweets? All three characters went inside of the Child's Play's boat that William rented. William admitted to Apollo and Patrice that he doesn't own the boat, and he built an app called Rockabye. It's an Airbnb but for boats. I do believe that Rockabye is actually a nursery rhyme that helps children go to sleep, meaning that he may be the person that has something to do with the missing children. Apollo gives William to kill a mockingbird book, and then William talks about his wife who has been gone for a long time and how he was a good father. I'm sorry, I would have said, may I get my money please? I gave you the book and I'm ready to go. But I see what he was doing to Apollo, because basically William was messing with his head. Apollo is now back to his apartment and he kept reading these disturbing messages from kindergarten. I would have stopped reading those posts, and you can tell Apollo is still emotionally damaged. He decided to meet Emma's sister Kim and give her a check of $10,000 to cover the baby Brian funeral that Kim and Lillian arranged. I think that is crazy that when Apollo stated that he didn't get the chance to know what Emma's third wish was, why Emma's sister said something about that and let him know what was the third wish, because she had to know. Because if Emma told her friend Michelle her wishes, I'm sure that she told her sister Kim as well. But I thought it was odd when her response to Apollo was, it wasn't supposed to be like this, meaning she knows something about Emma. This is just a theory. Then Apollo received a text message stating Emma Valentine is alive, and of course William was the one that sent Apollo the text message. I'm sorry, he just can't be trusted. William told Apollo that Emma was on the island in East River, and then William stated that you need a boat to get there. There is no way I would have agreed on going on a boat ride with William. So when we get a glimpse of William's background thanks to Patrice, even Patrice questions why William wants to help and what's in it for him. It's very odd that a stranger wants to help. Apollo don't care, he just wants to find Emma, which is crazy. So now we know that Emma is alive in the photos that William's friend provided. To be honest, I don't think that none of us thought she was dead. Apollo and William get on the boat, and William drives the boat, and he claimed he didn't know how to drive the boat, but that was a lie. Apollo sees the mystery island that both get off the boat, and of course William wants to join. This man is a total problem from the beginning to end, to be honest. They both notice hospital beds, and William stated it's North Brother Island. The island once housed the Riverside Hospital for curable diseases, but as technology and healthcare developed over the 19th century and into the early 20th, it found itself losing importance, kicking off the slow fade into the anatomy that is no occupies. But let's go back even further. North Brother Island was first claimed by the Dutch West Indian Company back in 1614, receiving the name bestselling, a translation of the companions. However, by the late 1600s, they passed to the hands of the British, now who occupy the area. In 1965, the British government granted the island to James Graham, but he refused to build a settlement on that island due to the hazard currents. In a strange way, this sets of how the island would be perceived throughout their history only have a brief with the human civilization. A lighthouse was built on North Brother Island back in 1869, and apart from the solitary, it remains uninhabited until 1885. Also in the early 1900s, an Irish cook named Mary Mullen, who reportedly to go to work for a number of families within New York, nearly all of which ended up contracting typhoid fever. While Mary claimed into her death that she was not carrying the typhoid disease, she is known in history as America's first asymptomatic carrier. Shortly after working in a new family, someone within the household would come down with symptoms of the typhoid fever, and Mary would leave to find a new family to work for. Strange, right? After concern grew and an investigation took place, Mary would eventually earn the name of Typhoid Mary and would be forced against her to be confined in North Brother Island. After spreading these 3 miserable years on the island, Mary will be released on the condition that she never worked in a kitchen again and changed her profession. Quickly after Mary left the island, she disappeared. 5 years later, Mary will meet an unfortunate fate once again after going against these conditions of her release, and she would take up a job as a cook in a hospital. Yes, this woman who was clearly affected and told not to work in a kitchen ever again, somehow winding up making her own way into the hospital kitchen. I thought that was crazy. Okay, so Apollo sees a light in the window, and this man is yelling, saying, "I'm the god of Apollo," several times. Mind you, it is dark outside. You don't know who is lurking or about to get you. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this scene was a little bit cringy because he just said, "I'm here for my revenge and I'm a god of Apollo." I was like, oh Lord. So anyways, then he gets captured by these women, and he's going to take him to see Cal. But before he sees Cal, he sees the lady here, the same woman that was in the group meeting, claiming that she thinks her baby is not human, and was she was telling the truth or was she was trying to trick Apollo. So we finally meet Cal, the leader of the wise ones. Cal talks about the brothers Grimm, Rapunzel. In the original fairy tale, the witch or the sorceress imprisoned her because the father was stealing the Rapunzel plant from the garden to feed his wife, who would eat nothing else. The man offered his firstborn to the witch in exchange for his freedom. Apparently, Cal is giving Apollo the answers regarding baby Brian, and Apollo realized that the baby is not human. Cal realized that Apollo is not alone due to William screaming. When she noticed that it's Greta's husband, she started beating him up. William finally confessed that he knew who Brian was and read how Emma gave birth on the A train. William stated that Greta listened to Cal like Emma did, and he just wants Greta and his daughter Grace back. But Apollo needs to help him first, and if he doesn't help, everyone on that island is going to die. Then towards the end, you see Lillian in the present day looking over the water. She was dragging a suitcase earlier on in the episode. In my opinion, I think it's a body in that suitcase, because when I first seen it, I was like, who body is she dragging, basically? I like episode 4. There was a lot of great details and solved answers. I will rate this a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, and until then, see you later.